this Russell Scott from scottcarvings.com, and today I'm going to do my rough out, the 1 million BC. This was sort of inspired by the movie 1 million BC with Raquel Welch, and kind of did my version of it. And I do have the paper for it, the paper go by for this rough out. And I also have some extra printouts, more to size printouts. And now for anybody who do purchase my 1 million BC, if you ask, I'll send all the other extras, extra patterns and stuff. And so the first thing I want to get going is take my pencil and start penciling some of the creases, especially around where the dress area is. Now this is taken from her wolf sheep, whatever she got that from. And so I am going to pencil in. Now we want to leave the face alone. We'll do the face a little later. Get that out of the way. Bring this back in. We've got this coming down. This coming here. Now we definitely want to start penciling these things in, especially here, because once you take a knife and you start going at it and start removing important parts, we want to make sure we get these in. Now we'll be getting into here. I did neglect to cut that out, but I'm going to use my divider to figure out how this works. This is going to come down like this. I'm leaving a little extra room. I think it gets a little less over here, but I'll just keep a little bit there. And she did have some booties of some kind, and I kind of got my interpretation of how the booties are. The boots, not the booties. The booties covered in the back. And of course, there's going to be a separation. Now we do have one leg forward than the other. We want to keep that in mind. And this is a simple 2" by 2" rough out. And in order for me to have it a rough out, I did need to have some kind of a base instead of just coming down at the feet. Flip it over. I did kind of make it a little easier by making more hair. We won't have to worry about the back a little bit. How she's got here. And it does, but this does go up and back down. I think it's like that's where it connects. That's where she buttons it up, is right there. All right. There's the hair. Now we do have a shoulder. Get that shoulder in. Marked in. Here the shoulder is inside the hair. And we don't want to lose the arms, and here's the hand. We'll be working on the hand. And so, step one, pencil in. Oh, I want to pencil this too. It's kind of a, what do they call them? Mucklucks, or I don't know. Where they got a little extra tufts here. Okay, just a little bit here, just pencil this in here. V-tool. V-tool time. Oh, I got most of my wood carving tools up here except my V-tool. And this one I want to be a little careful. I'm just sort of committing to the line. One of the things that I've been working on lately is smoother cuts. I'll talk a little bit more about it later, is that, especially when you're doing the female, I mean, if you do like a cut and it breaks, and then you cut again and it breaks, and what happens, it gets kind of a staggering line. Now you could do that with Santas and the old men and stuff, but I'm still, like I said, I'm still practicing to do that. That's what I'm focusing on, though I am failing at the moment. I think this kind of goes down a little more this way. Watch the grain. It comes, oops, this way. Watching the grain still. Am I still into the camera? That's the most important thing. I think I did get started on that. Let's leave as much as I can with the hand. Now, one of the character carvers, what was his name? He's the one that likes to not cut close to the hand when you got a rough out, and try to use as much wood as possible. But I kind of went around, I used as much as I gave as much as I could. And that broke. And it gets, I guess you probably can understand that if we get these, well, I didn't get this one in, this penciled in, is that once you get the V-tool, V cuts in, and then you start removing the, I always call it the fur. See, I'm trying to look and do this at the same time. Stop there. Get that out of there. I think the shoulder is going to be a little higher. Watch the hand as I'm cutting towards my hand. Okay, we are getting there. I want to make sure that this is rounded and not perfectly straight. We want to make this as imperfect as possible. And we'll do this the same with the bottom. Sometimes I don't like it being free-handed like that. I gotta one little thing at a time here. Now, the thing I've noticed, I mean, this is one of my older carvings, and I moving this around a little more. Recently started use my dad's 3D studio. Now her, I think she's got a little more backside on the backside. And so I think that's basically the only real problem, is where to put that backside. And maybe I should not have, see where it really sticks out is here. That's the farthest. I'll try to remember that. And then go in from there. Oops. That pattern over here. Keep going. Let's get in between the legs here with the V tool. Getting that started. Between the feet, am I still in? Ooh, I've always hated it. Don't like it when it's kind of free-handed like that. But in order to get in there, I want to be careful around here, not too deep. Yeah, see how it broke right there? Want to be a little more smoother. I hope I got good light. I think that's kind of, light looks good as I'm looking at it right now, but how does the camera interpret the light and how does it interpret the shadows as well? That's another question. Now my goal is to get all of my rough outs on video. And usually what I'll do is I'll take one as an example that has a funky mark on it, one of those black marks. Oop, hold on. Little ear itch there. And I think maybe this one had a little, where is it? You probably saw it somewhere. Anyways, because I really hate to send these out to a customer that's got a big black mark. One of those black things on it. Now I think I may have shortened the foot too much, so we want to use as much of that wood as we want. And we keep going. Now this piece is generally, you can make it caricature, it's semi-caricature, but it's mostly a female figure study kind of thing. Oh, there's the anomaly right there. And I have the little mermaid, or a mermaid, pardon me. I will be doing that shortly. And she's somewhat of a caricature slash female practice, or I guess I'd make this one kind of a little not straight. And I go up a little bit to meet. I think I did this. Okay. I can get around the head. I suppose I can get it, well, I think it's more like up here. There we go. Now the difference between this piece and that pattern printout that I have is that the head here is a little larger, a little more caricature, so I'm trying to add some character to it. Take some of this off, just a little bit. Because actually I want to be careful, because actually what's going to happen is that wherever the shoulder is, this is going to be, I'll probably start with that, is this will be the narrowest part between, that's right here, right at the shoulder, right here. And what happens is we're going to go down, and that's going to be the farthest down, and it's going to come up until it hits the chin, and then it comes straight up. So I could probably put that in because the rough out tool couldn't get in there. So let's get that at least started. Because I do want to cut, I do want to get, using the, sometimes I'll be using the flap, the side of the V tool as a tool. And I'm going under the chin, under the chin. I'm going to go this way towards the chest area. And my bird clock is telling me that it is noon o'clock. I figure I'm going to just shut down as soon as I get this thing here and eat lunch and come back. I think I got everything. How does this go here? That goes back like that. Twist back. I got to be careful cutting because I believe I have a sneeze coming on. I think I'll be all right. Now we're going to be doing a lot here. There's going to be a lot of pushing this back. Same with here. We're going to be pushing a lot of that back. The arm is almost okay, but it's the figure, the hip area. Now with that, I think we're done V cutting. Now, when I mentioned about taking the fur away, or the die marks, is that we'll have this smooth here, because this is the farthest part. Like I said, that's where the farthest of the behind comes out. We'll turn the knife a little bit. I'll still have this come out a little bit. Is that, what was I talking about? Is that we're taking the fur off. And if you're not comfortable with the tip of the knife, like what I'm doing there, you know, get a round tool or a V tool out. So most of the time, I'm just going to be taking, pardon me, the bit marks off. And that's what I'm doing most of it. Every once in a while, if I come up to something, see this, while I'm here, so like while I'm here, I could pull this out a little bit, and then I'll come back later to that. And then of course it goes round. Kind of figuring where the bit, rotary bit did not get in there. Well, he's being kind of, where's my V? Oh. Be careful about pulling the at the wood. But I'm going to take a little break. I just don't like looking at that. I'll just do one of this because this is straight down here. And we'll talk more about the chin later. I just wanted chin and cheek. I just want to get that out of there. It's kind of disturbing me. But anyways, let's keep working on the die marks. And here's where we are thus far. Is I did get my V on as much as I could. We shall return. Hello, we've returned, and I get going here. I've just got my latest chisel from Drake Knife. It's a little 2-inch. It's a number 2, about a 20 mil. Nice shape, nice and sharp. Now the thing is, what I'd like to do is go in this direction, but I think it's a green in the wrong, oh, there we go. There we get. See, it'll get to a point where it's the wrong direction. And then I'm just going to get back to my knife. But yeah, you could probably use something like this on your rough outs. Now let's see if we can just kind of turn this a little bit. Come on. And maybe a little bit closer. Take my glove on. Put my glove on. Put this over here and get back to. And we're just taking, I just want to take the, for now, the fur off. This is kind of the boring part. I probably will shut down after a while. And we want to get to those shapely legs, shapely arms, and everything else. And just skinning it. And we'll get into digging. I hate that. I hate when when it scrapes like that, and because what happens is I just cut it away. I should have showed you when it does that chatter. Like I said, smooth. Keep it one non-stop smooth cut if you can. And keep practicing up for it. And of course, when we get to something like when we get to the knee, there'll be a scoop like this, and a scoop down here. But right now, like I said, I want to just take the fur off. There's some chatter there. Yeah, I hate it when it just like it scrapes. Call it scraping. It doesn't cut. It scrapes. Let me get my number. This is a smaller number 9. sort of the process of not only cleaning, but getting kind of tired of it just rubbing. And smoother than that, come on, smoother. Where are my number 9s? Yeah, I got a number 9, that size. Or not 9, number 11. It's a number 11 at about 2 mil, 3 mil, pardon me. The thing I like 11s is that you got the extra sides to it, so you don't bury the sides of the chisel. Return. I'll get back to that scrape there. And also mind the grain. When you put the knife in, it isn't going to take off a lot of wood with it. I noticed by the hand there, when I get the chisel out, I forgot to dedicate the hand. I'll just give it just a little wider. Oops, sorry. Well, that was just the light. As wide as we can with the, let's bring the light closer as a matter of fact. Closer, how close can I get here without getting it into the, there we go. This is sort of the boring part. Or not boring, it's more tedious. More the tedium. I'm kind of losing my touch here. Oops, I scraped her leg. Let me introduce you to my next number 11. This is a 5 mil. As soon as I clean this off, clean these bends here. Put him there. Let me introduce you to my little friend. Whereas, what was the name? Crocodile Dundee would say, that's not a knife. This is a knife. Okay, I'm going to bring a little bit of the hands out. Now, I also use this figure for my Viking Valkyrie. And what I do is you have the shield here, but here's where you're going to have to be a little careful, is to drill a hole and have that, her sword coming out. And then back, especially by the hair, it's a good spot here, because this is where the wings come out. But being in the hair and it comes out, that's really nice, because you're hiding the connection. Okay, did I get all annoyed or not? And the other thing is, when you got these nice long strips, it cuts more off it. Like I said, I'll just do a little bit of a curve right here. Get that knee out just a little bit, just to get it started. Now it's always good not only to have, oops, green is in the wrong direction here. Have pictures out, like I got this, will help me with my, what do you call it, separator, what do you call that, the divine, and I have something like this character who will kind of keep me in mind as to how the legs will be shaped, arms will be shaped, kind of helps out quite a bit, especially the face. Got a nice sort of a solid face. What do you call it? What is this called? You know, the thing is my brain, I would know what something is, and then I would forget. So it's like, for example, here, when we get to it, divider, separator. It's not a dial caliper. See how that is right there? We're going to be doing quite a bit of separation. We're going to here, because what was it? Just about above the knee, and below the knee is like about this. So here and here, and a lot of that's going to come out. Okay, next I'm going to do the boots. Now the boots, that's one of the things that I've learned recently with one of the classes. Like when you're doing Santas, and you want that fur. So instead of, wait, the grain goes this way. Instead of cleaning it, might as well just take the chisel and just go ahead and do this, like this. Cleaning and shaping at the same time. Oh, that's it. Kevin Applegate. I know I use a character Carver America. And go on to, as a matter of fact, right now is you can get on to woodcarversacademy.com, and you'll have, they'll show all the lessons and their previous classes. I thought, yeah, that's what he did. Well, we'll do this with the Santa tufts, and that's what I'm going to do. That's what I've been doing lately. It's just, you got to shape this a little bit. You don't have to with the rough out, but when it comes to the Santa tufts, I'll talk a little bit more when it comes to doing Santas. And just, there you're cleaning it, and now that's going to end up being separated. So I won't go too deep there. In fact, a lot of the clothing will be like that. Am I still in? Okay. Make sure I start getting into this, and then I keep forgetting that I'm not in. And now, here's what I want to experiment with. Is a larger number 9. That's a, oh, I don't have my ruler with me. Oh goodness, what is that? About a 10-ish, and start cleaning it, because this is a animal boot. So this does not need to be smoothed, but I want to be careful that I don't take too much of the toes out of there, because I think this is going to come back quite a bit more. I think I'm going to have to use my knife to get in there, or my smaller chisel to get deeper. I get deeper in there. I hate that too. Is put the chisel down and it just moves. While I'm using this chisel, I've got to put my other glove on. Put my chisel glove. I got my chisel glove here. because it just kind of hurts the fingers. I don't know if it's because of the way I'm holding it. Let's continue making larger cuts. So we're sort of texturizing and taking the fur off, which is kind of interesting. We're taking the fur off and put fur back on. That's gonna, because you don't want to paint with this when it has this, the markings of the bit. Not too much, just toe off. Just careful of which direction the grain goes. All right, probably have to come back. There's a couple of marks here and there. Probably come back later when it comes to cleaning up, because I think he's basically done. Okay, then we can go to the next level. In fact, I want to try 2 tools. I'll try my new Drake tool. But before I do that, let's do my number 5. That's about 25 mil. And scrape this, because this doesn't have to be perfect. This is going to be rock. Oops. Took too much off there, but gotta watch the grain. If I want to take too much off, it's because I want to. Not because it's a whoopsie-daisy. So you're kind of shaping and taking the marks off at the same time. And then we'll get back to shaping the rocks. It's kind of interesting where that anomaly is right on the rock. So yeah, with my rough out guards so far, I mean, I'd have the pieces that come in with have some marks. I would either, at a show, I would probably either sell it a little cheaper, or I just carve it myself. And I know where to paint, how to paint it, and it doesn't go to waste. And it doesn't go to waste. Have I done this side? Okay, now, I think the trouble is I'd have to get to the knife. Or do I? And that's one thing about the rock. The rock can be imperfect. The thing that you want perfect is when her legs, arms, actually her, that's got nothing, that's exposed. Even the hair is a little imperfect if there's a slippage. And I'll come back for details here, but that's almost Done. So almost, with the exception of separation, we're about maybe a third done, just like that. Now I'm going to try this again. This is imperfect, but instead, well, first I want to put this. Where's my knife? Keep this on because I want to take the chisel again. Make this where it's like it's going down around her, and then it comes up. But I'm not too concerned about these connector marks. Now what you might want to do is to do the flesh first before you get into stuff like this, but I might get to a point where I'll stop after I get most. See, I mean, when you get to the fleshy part, that's where we want to be kind of gentle. Even though there's still quite a bit of shape, and quite a bit. And I want to put a little bit of, I think probably just a little bit extra of her, because she's a healthy girl who's been in the jungle, as it were. See, when it comes to, you gotta get up and in, but then when we get to here, it's going to start separating, and we'll get to that. But I'm just more interested in taking fur off right now. I'm not taking fur off, but taking the marks off, because she's wearing fur. You know, that's the thing too. I don't know what everybody thinks if they want to carve a nude. Let me know. I could do that. But I just don't know how people would feel about carving a nude slash rough out, or doing a nude in cutout form. See, I can see we're still doing good, because the leg is going to come up in here and it's going to meet this. So it's like, that's one good swipe. We're still good here. Okay. Let us take the bigger chin. I got an even bigger one than that. This one here is a number 5 at about, was it about 10-ish mil? But you gotta watch where how the green goes. This is semi imperfect. I mean, you don't want to take too much off. Oops, because I'm losing that roundness there. I'll come back with a chisel. Oh, go zoom tight. See, I already got this already rounded or smooth. I should have waited until I got this going. Just while I'm, like I said, while I'm in the process of doing the fur parts, and I should have left it till then. Okay, here we go. Going with this, and there's going to be more detail to this. Like I said, I'm just actually more like taking the fur off. I keep saying fur. See, I gotta say the drill marks, the bit marks. Now this is going to be a little difficult here, because we want to be careful about how we do these. Be careful, don't take too much off. Of course, it depends on how robust you want her to be. See, here's where it doesn't have to be smooth. Be very choppy. Trying to leave some choppiness. Are we leaving the camera? Well, we got it upside down. So you keep doing that scraping. I hate the scraping. When I put the chisel or knife down, I want it to cut instead of just bounce on top. Oh, where's my pencil? We left a pencil. It's right here. A pencil and V. I'm almost. Because what's going to happen is going to go in. Okay, now did I take out all of her? Oh, pardon me. Get kind of the dry coughs here. Okay, you can take that off. And bring back the knife. Oh boy. Once in a while, some dryness gets in my throat and I can't even talk at all. Right on the voice box. So if I'm being a little too quiet. You know, I think I might hear, because I'm getting into her arm here. Let's see what this number 2 can, this brand new Drake tool can get in on. Still too much on the, again, it's the angle of the wood, of the grain. All right, well, let's get to the hands and arms. Now we're just very carefully taking marks off. Taking marks off. I like what Dave Stetson said when I had a class with him. is when you start to take off the marks, all you're making is cylinders right now. Come back later and you'll do the shaping. Right now, just take off the cylinder, creating cylinders. Oh, there's another chisel, B tool. You know, every time I take out my number 11s, they have the same handles, and then if I want my V's, the V tool, it just kind of gets lost. Okay, what I think is, let me take a little bit of this off here. You know, it's really interesting. I got my purchased some old Santa roughouts, and doesn't have the pattern. And I'm trying to go on the internet to find, well, what the heck with the pattern, to see what it looks like, to know what it is. And it's just getting to the point, there's some I'll just start from scratch, and as long as it looks good at the end. Yeah, but that's not supposed to be the way it was. Well, and so once in a while when you do get a rough out or a cutout, especially a cutout, you can do anything with a cutout. But rough out, it's, well, I think I mentioned in my video a little back, a long time ago when I first started, there's one gentleman who had a class, and all you do is you bring in your old carvings and then we'll work on it, kind of a thing. And if you want to bring in an old rough out, cut out, and then starting from scratch with patterns. But then he said if you have cutouts or even rough outs with no pattern and you don't even know what it looks like and you don't even remember. And that's really a interesting class. Where one woman had she had a Santa Claus, and it's obviously when you look at it, it's a Santa Claus. Oops, I gave her a cut there. And they changed into a guy, her instructor took the pencil and let's make it a dog that's kind of standing up and begging. And sure enough, penciled it in and she carved it and looked pretty good, as if that's what the rough out was made for. Oops. And that's one of the latest books from the Character Carvers of America, is taking this blob, and each one had their own, and I did too. And you can buy this rough out blob and make it your own. And I turned mine into a Sami Santa up in the north. It's kind of interesting. Have you ever seen Netflix Klaus? And then they showed some of the Sami people with the Sami hats, and so that was kind of interesting. I did that. I found it. The only thing, the hand goes in the back, so his hand is kind of clutching his butt, and it's like that's all you can do. Anyways, we're moving right along, and she's still kind of a sort of a white blob, but we'll get there. Where's my number? Number 3 of number 11, 3 mil. Let's get in there, kind of clean that a bit. It's more like not only cleaning, but get our bearings on it. Okay, trying to get myself adjusted here now. Did I get both arms already? Boy, we're just moving right along. And oh, we got some more here. I'll do the back and then I'll do the front. Oops, careful. Okay. Of course, you got to make sure your tip is nice and sharp too, just like to get that nice clean. I had my detail knife, and I'm trying to do eyes, and it just, why isn't it always so scrappy looking like it? And one thing I like to do, we had our group talking about how to sharpen tools, and one of the ways I like is actually taking my what do you call it? Your headpiece or your eyepiece, your eye visor, or whatever you call it. I got one that has that extra little round magnifier, so it gets way in there, and I want to see what's going on in there. And it's really interesting because the tip. See how you got your blade, and then you got your back, and it comes to the top. And what happened? There was more back than there was blade on the tip. So it's just kind of almost like this little round tip. And no wonder it wasn't cutting. I gotta be careful. Let's see if I can use that in here. I probably could. Yeah, it doesn't have much of. Yeah, this doesn't have much of a hook. That's what I wanted. But this will do nicely on other things. I got other plans for that. I just thought, how would it work here? And again, I'm leaving the hair. It's imperfect, as it were. And I want to get as much as I can. Be careful. Do I have wood of my... let's see if my Helvy will get in there better. There's a little bit of that black. I sharpened it so it's sharp. Ooh, that tip is sharp. I do love my Helvy knife. I want to get over here. But the back is kind of flat. Oh, yeah, that's where this is working better. I use my rough out knife. See, that's got to really be dug. And that's going to like meat. Come on. So we're going to have got a hole right here. So same with on the other, well, this side, the other side. That side has a hole I just showed you. Okay, now I'll just start with this knife. I am going to start with just cleaning the chest area here. And this is where we want to be more delicate. And again, we want to keep it in one smooth cut. Like that. There's a nice smooth cut. I still want to get... We're going to get one of the last details that we're going to do is a lot of undercut and make this all come out more from the skin. I'll just do a little quick turn right there, even though there's more to it. I think I better start using the Helvy here. Let's see if the Helvy will help me out here. Yeah, it's got a... It actually is... Now this knife, I think it's grounded down. It came more like this. And I've been sharpening and sharpening and sharpening and... I just want to get, ooh, 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 ooh. She was saying, ouch. Okay, now I want to do one detail while we're here. Just at least get it started. We'll get more into it later. is get her really busty. She's very busty. So that is about right. Because that's going to be centered. Where is our belly button? Yeah, around here. We'll have to come back to verify where that is. For me, when I carve figures, whether it is showing or not showing, especially when it comes to like Santa Clauses or whatever, I always say the belly button is the front. And I've been doing some more twistings and turnings lately. But wherever the belly button, that's front, and the head might turn this way and the legs might turn that way. But the belly button is always front. That's what I like. Now this one here, I'm going to start, don't go too deep. Nice and smooth. We're doing some surgery here. I don't want this too deep because I can see we're going to have to do some surgery because it is going to be a little lopsided. But what I want to do is I want this to be a solid deep right about here, about 10 degrees one way, about 10 degrees the other way. That's what I want. Right there. With just a little bit of, oops, careful. Now it's going to come down here. I'm going to take this little chip out here. It's going to come down here. Take this little chip out here. And we're just starting. Because this side, yeah, I think because I did slip and take too much off when I did this. This is correct. One side is correct, so I'm just going to just a little bit. So as I'm rounding, it's going in. And I think that's what's happening is there is too much on this. There we go. Okay, I'm going to leave that there. I am going to go just to the chin. I just want to scrape the chin just enough to clean it, because the head is going to be shaped much more. I just want to. So when we get to the face, see, I said it comes here and then it comes at an angle like a 7. Because I want to actually get to the hair. One of the things that it depends on what you're carving. I've kind of changed a little bit of my thought is I use the Santa Clauses. This works. When you carve the inside out. But when it comes to figures like this, it is outside in. And I think just a little bit, since this is as far as it's going to go here. And the reason why I like to do Santas is this is, especially if it's a cutout, and here's this blob of wood, and you start with the nose and the beard, and then you work out, and then you know how much of the beard and the hair is going to go away, and how much where you're going to put the ears and stuff based on where the nose is. But here, especially since it's a rough out, and this is a female, it is we're going to go from the outside slowly in. But we're going to do a trade-off. In other words, as we're going in, I might get to the nose and a little bit out. But I want to take the marks off underneath, the underneath marks, just a little bit, because I want to definitely use a chisel. And you know what? Let's just start and see if we have to come back with it. Anyways. Okay, starting with a number. I want these to be kind of rounded, so I won't use my Drake right now, and I won't use my number 5 right now. I thought I pulled it out. Didn't I pull it out? Pull it out, and no, there it is, right. Oh, that ain't it. This is it. This is, I've used this before. Another number 9. That's about a 15 mil-ish. And we'll start taking the now this could be a little choppy. Like I said, I wanted to do now. If I've got this upside down, now I got to bring this back again. Because when we're here, let's take my number 9, about 5 mil, and we'll get in there. We can do that to make sure. But the major thing was make sure that we keep some of this. And if we lose it, it's okay. I just want to make sure that some has been kept. And so on. Especially when you get down to here. But we'll do the detailing later. But I prefer to start, well, while we're here. Nope, he's got to go this way. Put a little wave to it as well. Now, I hate doing this. I call it freehand because it could slip, but you still in? Put it down here again, close to the, going on the wrong side of the green. This is going to have a little bit of a twist. I don't want to be careful. Now I'm going to be careful here. Now I'm just going to kind of take taking the marks off. Now what I like to do with my rough outs, every time they come in, I like to take the nub off as much as I can. Especially when it comes to classes, and our classes are, like the weekend or something. We don't have too much time, or a day. There's some that are a day, and I take that off because the first times I did it, I seen people, they're just like so much time. Because the rough out is mostly done. The only time you have to dig, there's some digging when the bit couldn't get into certain places, but other than that, there should not be too much heavy duty digging, like like this is a cutout. And so I have to take a good chunk of that off of there, or as much as I can off. And still keeping that, what I had there. Again, being careful around the head area. Now, actually, you can use any number. I'd like to start with a wider, whatever round wide is good, because we're coming back to that here. This isn't done. Or I don't know, do you want to leave it that way? I mean, if you leave it that way, that's okay too. But we're going to come back with some more detail, and I think, other than I want to get underneath here, these get some of that off in there. Same with down here, but I'll come back later for that. So the only thing that's left is take the rest of this off. Now we're going to put some muscle into it. Now we got some muscle here. And I found if you got a nice, make sure it's a really sharp, larger round tool will cut much better than a knife when it comes to just trying to take this off. And you can see it's a little, well, I'm pretty sure it is sharp. I just that it's. So it's still a little kind of chappy there. Oops, let's get back here. I hate it when it does that. Quiet, you. Okay, just a little bit here. Like I said, we're coming back for more details. Oh, why not? Let's pick up my, where's my number? Let's make sure this stays in there and careful. I don't hit my hand. And there we get. Now I might be needing a knife to get in here. I don't know. It's kind of interesting too. I always think the more tools you use on a project, the less you have to stop and sharpen your knife or other tools. But I want to be careful here. Okay, now we got most of it off. Now we're getting to shaping. I want to leave the face to the end. Even the hands will be second to the end. I think we'll get to it, but still, we're still in the really chopping stage. This would probably be a good time to get into the hair a bit.